A logger and his father head to their hunting cabin, hoping for a quiet weekend. Instead, they find themselves in a kill or be killed stand for survival when they encounter a gang of ruthless drug traffickers. Now I will explain and review an action and adventure movie film called Braven. Just relax and enjoy. Joe Braven, logging company owner and family man Joe Braven lives with his wife Stephanie and their daughter Charlotte. His father Lyndon was fierce, independent and strong but suffers from brain trauma due to a head injury and now is in the early stages of Alzheimer's. When he sneaks off to a nearby bar and believes a younger woman is his late wife and demands that she go home with him, he starts a protracted bar fight once again that Joe must put a stop to. While discussing with his wife, Joe decides that he needs to talk to his father about getting more care so that incidents like this stop happening. Joe decides to take his father to his secluded log cabin in the woods. At Stephanie's suggestion, Joe and Lyndon decide to spend some time together at the family's secluded mountain cabin, unaware that Charlotte was hiding in the back of the vehicle so she could tag along. Meanwhile, while transporting logs by truck, Joe's co-worker Weston is asked by Hallett, who is a drug trafficker, to recruit other drivers into Hallett's criminal activities, but Weston refuses. During the conversation, Weston loses control of his truck, causing a crash that displaces all the logs and drugs from the vehicle. They plan to go to Joe's cabin, which is nearby. After they resolve to go to Joe's mountain cabin to store temporarily the cocaine there, Weston and Hallett are picked up by a police patrol car. Hallett relays the news of the crash to his employer, drug lord Casson, moments before Casson kills Randall, who presumably worked with him in the past. After Joe, Lyndon, and Charlotte show up at the cabin, Joe finds the cocaine concealed in the shed. He immediately tried to flee with his father Lyndon and daughter Charlotte. But while on the way, Joe felt something is not right, so he stopped and decided to back to the cabin to plan thoroughly. So, when they got back they prepared their guns and so he hides Charlotte in a capacity storage room prior to being encircled by Casson's hired fighters. He finds that the packs were left there by one of his workers, Weston, who has been running illegal drugs as an afterthought for Casson, a horrible illegal drug smuggler. The cabin is encircled by Weston, Casson, and an armed team who will remain determined to get the drugs back and kill Joe and his dad. Joe tried to negotiate for their safety. He wants to give the other half of the drugs when they arrive in the downtown. But Casson refused and killed Weston. So Joe must show no contradiction and go back to the cabin and strategize. Since they will be killed obviously afterward, therefore Joe and his father decided to fight back, using their skills and experiences with weapons and survival techniques to outsmart Casson and his crew. Then Joe, prepare a bow and arrow with fire. Then Casson's crew followed him and when he peeks, Joe shoots an arrow right to his head resulting in his death on the spot. Then Casson and his crew engaged with high-powered guns and sniper. Then his father started to shoot and hit one of the Casson men. Then Joe run with his bike and brought Charlotte for her to escape to the top of the mountain and contact her mother and ask for help. Then as Joe flees with his bike, one of the fighters saw him and is about to shoot but his father Lyndon shoots the enemy first so Joe was able to escape. So then his father remains in the cabin and fights with his sniper to create confusion. His father faces them bravely with his sniper trying to buy time for her granddaughter to escape. When Joe arrives at the place where Charlotte could escape and contact her mother, he goes back to fight with his father. Casson and his men chase him but temporarily lost him. But Casson notices and orders his men to go back while he will remain and go to the top of the mountain to easily find Joe. While at home Stephanie, the wife of Joe, notices that Charlotte is not in the house and finds a note that she went with her dad. So she decided to go to the cabin as well. Then Charlotte continues to go to the top to find a signal so that she can contact her mother. She is able to find a spot and starts to contact her mother, while Casson and his men continue with their search. Casson's crew found Joe's bike and belonging, but does not know that this is just a decoy. So, Joe was able to surprise attack him and successfully hit the enemy. But the enemy has able to recover immediately and fight back with his gun, but Joe is able to knock him out with his bag, tied the enemy to the bike, and drove the bike to let it fall, but Joe was grabbed and dragged along. The enemy died on the spot as he fell to the stone on the shore. But Joe was able to land safely on the water. While Charlotte continues to search for a good spot with enough signal, she is finally able to contact her mother and inform the situation. After her mother got informed, she called the police and asks for help. Joe was able to climb back to the mountain, but Casson saw him, then informed the crew and asked for backup. In the cabin, while his father stays alert for another attacker, one of the Casson crew is slowly approaching the cabin trying to penetrate, but Lyndon was able to notice him and is able to kill him right away. Casson is going back to the cabin while searching for Joe. While Joe is also going back to the cabin to help his dad, he spotted an enemy, Then he climbs up to the tree and creates a decoy. Then the enemy took it and then Joe got the chance to surprise attack him. They fought. But Casson arrives and his crew got saved by the bell. So, Joe continues to run back to the cabin. In the cabin, while his father is looking for the enemies, he is prepared, but the sniper stayed alert and always observes, until he notices where he hides and then shoots. So, Lyndon almost got shot in the head, which triggers his mental condition, and got blanked and confused. But Joe has hurriedly run back to the cabin and was able to get there right on time. Then he shoots the sniper while jumping into the cabin. He continues to shoot until the sniper got hit. But Casson and his men reassemble and launch an all-out attack with high-powered guns. So he checked his father upstairs and help him. Then he brings his father to a safe place while preparing to counter an attack. Stephanie arrives at the area. Prepared her bow and arrow. She then started to look for her daughter Charlotte. Charlotte, while running, someone already tailing her. When Charlotte almost got caught by the enemy, luckily, Stephanie, her mother, arrives on time and shots an arrow at the enemy and his hand got hit and stuck to the stone. They fight while Charlotte was able to get away and was able to find the police and told the whole situation. Then the police go to the cabin. In the cabin, while Joe and his father are being surrounded by enemies, Joe prepared a counterattack and was able to kill one of Casson's crew through his axe. But as he got outside to search for others, Casson found his dad and killed him. Then as he catches his dad and tried to save him, the police have arrived and the police officer shoots Casson, but Casson was able to escape. While Joe is crying for her father is about to die, Casson's crew found him and is about to shoot him. But his wife Stephanie found the enemy and got to shoot the arrow first, and Joe was saved by his wife. So the gun and arrow fight begins. But Joe hurriedly got back up and helped his wife and throw an axe at the enemy, and got shot by an arrow to the neck, then got killed right away. Then Joe jumps like a donkey going to the woods. Casson took the drugs and put them in the bag and tried to flee. The police arrive and tried to go to the cabin, but Casson found him first, shoots him, and the police got hit. Casson goes to his car and gets the other drugs loaded into his bag. The police noticed him and warned him, but Casson shoots him. So he was able to run with the drugs. Joe and his wife Stephanie reunited. Then Joe decided to go after Casson, but he has to get some tools and weapons, for him to be able to fight Casson. So he went after him. Casson, while in the woods looking for a way to escape. Joe is setting a trap, he conceals it, and waits for Casson. Casson arrives and while they fight, Casson notices the trap. After Casson got past the trap, Joe runs toward Casson and lets his foot trap and push Casson to the cliff. Together they fall. But Joe is able to save himself because of the trap to his foot. While in pain, Joe is able to climb back to the mountain through the trap. So, he was able to reunite his family safely except for his father who died. What do you think of this movie? Did you appreciate the heroism being shown by a father? Please let us know your thoughts on this movie in the comment section below. Please do not forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell icon. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.